Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Empowered Conversations, where I have amazing conversations with extraordinary people who are out in the world just living lives with intention and on purpose in service to others, doing beautiful things in service to others, and living their best lives. Lives, again, like I said, with intention and on purpose. And that is none other than my amazing guest today, Elyse Falzone. Elyse is a quantum healer and cosmic doula for CEOs and spiritual newbies alike. She guides women to master their intuition, activate their soul essence, and honor their pleasure codes. Elyse connects with her clients through immersive and interactive experiences, guiding and holding space for them to let go, open, and expand, allowing them to honor their inner voice and live out their soul's expression every day. In addition, she is the creator and facilitator of the Certified Healers course, co-founder of Awake and Soulful Podcast and Retreats, and is a sought out as a master energy healer and guest expert for retreats, workshop, workshops, and stages all around the world. So, guys, drum roll, please help me in welcoming Elyse Falzone. Hey,
Hey!
girl!
Can you please read my bio everywhere I go? You are the best bio reader ever.
Oh, thank you. Done, check, and done. Check.
Check and check. You're just gonna travel with me.
I would love to do that. I would love. Oh my gosh, sign me up. Where do I sign? Where do I sign?
Tulum's next, okay?
Oh wow, Tulum, Mexico. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. When are you going to Tulum?
In just a couple of weeks, we're heading to
Oh,
Tulum for our Tulum Elemental Power Retreat. It's a
oh.
really beautiful women's retreat that's happening, and it's just really going to be magical. So excited.
Now, are there any spots left if someone from today's episode wanted to sign up?
That's a really great question. So we just finalized everything yesterday.
Okay.
However, there is a spot left. So if someone is on today and is like, holy shit, I gotta go,
Oh
then
my
message me.
God.
Let's connect and we'll make it happen.
I might be the one signing up, except for I'm going to be in St. George, Florida in 2
That's
weeks
right.
for vacation. How far is St. George from where you are? You're
You
Sarasota,
know,
correct?
yeah, I don't, to be honest, I don't really know. I know that's funny. I'm newer to this area. I've been in Florida for about 6 years, but I'm newer to this area. So I don't actually know that answer.
You know what's hilarious is I have friends scattered all over Florida, and I think anybody associates somebody tells me they're coming to North Carolina. Oh, Stephanie, I'm coming to North Carolina, and they might live, way out west or way up north. They're like, and
Yes.
I'm like, where are you going to be staying? And I'm like, I Google or MapQuest or whatever, we use these days, and it's like, oh, that's like 4.5, 5 hours. So I've reached out to
Yes.
several of my friends. They're like, oh, Stephanie, that's 6 hours. Oh, that's five and
Yeah.
a half hours. So it's like, oh, doggone, you just,
It's
oh,
close,
yeah,
but not close enough.
right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So Elyse, thank you so much for being here. It's such an
Thank you.
honor to have you. And, at the very, what the most important thing and what Empowered Conversations is about is really sharing the depths and the heart and the soul of each person that I'm speaking with. And through, my first question for you is, what experiences, epiphanic moments, all led to, your life experiences, what all led to you making the decision, I want to be a quantum healer. I want to be in service to others, and this is my tool. This is my gift. What all led to that?
Can I like release the scroll for you?
Girl, release the scroll. Release the
Release
Kraken.
the scroll.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
oh, it's so true. And there's so many things, but the most relevant answer in this very moment is that the role really chose me this lifetime. I don't know that I really had a choice, kind of thing. I'm so grateful that that's the role that I've dropped into and that has been gifted to me, which quite honestly, we all have the gift of intuition and we all have the gift of being a vessel of healing. So just, putting that out there that we each have it in our own way. For me, I was very awake to there being more than five senses from a very young age. I had, back then we called it the sixth sense. We didn't used to
Hmm.
call it intuition. It was like,
Yeah,
oh, the
yeah.
sixth sense and the sixth sense movie and the sixth sense, books that you could read and all of those things. I saw spirits from a very young age. My grandmother passed a long time ago, before I was born. And she started visiting me at a very young age. And I'm just so grateful that my mom was open to me talking to her about this, because I know a lot of parents don't understand it. They don't know. They think, oh, it's just an imaginary friend, when actually like it's a real entity, a real something coming through. So, it was like, it was there. And I just knew that there was something more. I could feel things. But it was also really scary for me and kind of unknown. Like, I didn't really know anybody in my life that
Mhm.
were utilizing and practicing these skills. And so I turned to books. I turned to the John Edwards Crossing Over show and Sylvia Brown's like mediumship books and different things, in my time frame growing up, and the people who are really kind of the forefront of that. And I started learning and I started praying and I started just being in that space. And then I just got really scared. I finally was like, God, take it away. Like, you got to take it away. I had a moment, this moment. Oh my gosh. I don't know if I've actually ever shared this on any of the podcasts or any of the things that I've talked about, but it's coming through. So we're going to talk about it. Um, there was like a devastating tornado that went through. I grew up in the Midwest, so there were tornadoes, right? Like all the time. And I remember I was probably about 11, 12. I remember watching the news and there was like devastation, people died, like things that were really tragic occurred in my hometown and around where I was at. And I remember saying a prayer to God at that moment while watching the TV with my family. I was like, okay, God, I do not want to die in a natural disaster. Like, I do not want to die in that way. I want to die peacefully in my bed. And I was like so clear about how I wanted to leave this planet. And I went to sleep that night and I levitated. I remember my body fully going numb. And I was like, what's happening? What's happening? And when I opened my eyes, I was about this far away from my ceiling and I could see the tunnel of light. And I was like, hold up. I know I said I wanted to die peacefully in my bed, but I do not want to die right now. But I think it was like a few things happened in that moment. It was how powerful words are,
Yep.
how powerful intention is. And also, and I'm getting like full body chills as I'm talking about this, it was also this moment of like everything is one. Like, we're here, but
Yep.
we're also there. It was like this total cosmic experience. And there were so many things that happened like that when I was a kid. And there are so many things that happened like that to other of us, those of you listening, that you might be like, oh, yeah, I remember that thing.
Mhm.
But I just thought it was weird or a dream, or I just kind of shoved it under the rug because I didn't want to think about it. But I just started asking questions. I was really good asking questions to myself, to my own inner self. I didn't really know how to ask them to people in my life, but I
Mhm.
asked them to people around myself.
Mhm.
Um, but I asked God to take the gifts away. I was scared. I didn't want to see any more ghosts in my house, all the things. But one of the catalysts that kind of, I don't want to say took me back, but I would say my whole life has really been this dance of like, I'm going in. Oh, no, can't do it. Can't do it. Close my eyes. I don't want to see. Going in, going out, going in, going out. I had a really traumatic illness when I was like 14. And through doctors, my mom finally ended up taking me to a natural practitioner. And within, I don't know, 15 minutes, she was like, oh, your daughter's metal toxic. The metal from my braces had actually seeped into my bloodstream and I became very metal toxic. We took the braces off. She really became my first teacher, like my first
Right.
human teacher.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I feel like I want to just take a pause because there's already so much and just like let it simmer.
Right. So like, okay, so first thing I want to unpack, there's so much to unpack there. I love it. So when you talk about how like you didn't choose this journey, the journey chose you. Am a believer that energy is consistent. I mean, well, we know that from either the first or the second law of dynamics, that energy is consistent. It's neither created nor destroyed. It's always there. So we are just a physical, hey Jeff, what's up? We are just a physical manifestation of energetic matter, that one can
Yes,
see, touch, and feel. However, there's the vibration, there's the energy. That is what I would refer to as soul. That is the connection. That's what you were saying is God. God, like everything is God. I'm God. You're God. There's
yes,
nothing that
yes,
isn't God. When you were
yes,
asking for things to be taken away, or when you're asking for things, you are aligning yourself with the vibration of that which you are desiring, whether it
yes,
is, and these are my opinions. So, and because I remember as a child asking for certain things and they would happen and like, oh, maybe I didn't want that. Or I would ask for like I would put out into the universe, and because it's not just about words, because there has to be this feeling. That's what the law of attraction is. It's this feeling, this emotional trigger, this feeling that's connected to whether it's a positive feeling or a negative feeling, to that which you're speaking or thinking about, that manifests it or repels it. And when so you said, I don't want to die like this, but you were calling on death. In essence, you were
I
calling.
totally was.
But luckily, as you're like, whoa, wait a minute, hold up. Hey, oh God, there's a rap song. Anyway,
Yeah, hold
and
up.
you're like,
Wait a
you're at the
minute.
ceiling. Yeah, you're like, wait a minute, not yet, not right now. Not today. You know,
Yes,
and so it's amazing. And what I love is like the intentionality of realizing when you were young how much power you realize that you have over the creation and manifestation of your life. And it's just
yes,
like snowballed.
yes. 100% on all of that. And there was a bit of it that was so scary because there is so much quote unquote
Right.
power. And that's one of the beautiful things now, and I'll fill in a bit of that gap there, like how we got
Yes.
from 14 to now. But
Yes.
now when I support people, it's like helping them to recognize that they don't, while I say I'm a healer, I'm really just a vessel to help
Right.
reflect their truth. It's not my truth that I'm putting on somebody. It's their own truth that comes through my vessel, and I can reflect that back in a way that is digestible for them. And so
Yes.
a way that reminds them of how powerful they are. You're whole, you're complete. You don't need to go do anything to heal. Yes, there are things we want to clear out. Let's clear them out. Let's match the vibration, all of that. But there's nothing that you lack. And I think that was part of my journey, was recognizing that. Like even in the illness, even in the I want to die, oh shit, I don't want to die like that kind of
Right.
moments, it was like I was learning about my power, and I was learning about my connection with self and spirit. And um this woman Kay, who helped me detox my body and give my body a reset. She taught me about chakras, and she taught me about color therapy. And I heard a voice in that moment through that process that said, "You are a healer." And I believe it to be like the great creator voice that said that to me. And again, at that time, I'm 14. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I don't know what that means. And so I would pull away and I would come back, and I would pull away and I would come back throughout my journey. But then I went to college for kinesiology. I was a dancer and gymnast growing up, so always interested in the body and expression and all of that. Dove into massage therapy school, Reiki, like it was always there for me, right? And then it was like, okay, let's help people with nutrition. Okay, let's help people with this. And it finally was like, you're doing this dance. And spirit was like, you got to drop all the way in. And that moment for me was 2010 melanoma skin cancer. It was a time in my life I was questioning my purpose. I was questioning how I wanted to help people. I was questioning what impact I was making. I was questioning the amount of money I was making. I was questioning how I was showing up in my marriage. Like, all the things were like in big question. I was questioning being in the industry and auditioning for dance gigs and TV and commercial jobs. It was like there was something inauthentic about that to me. And so I was in this big swirl of questioning, and boom, melanoma comes forward. So what does it do? It has me sit on my ass, think about all the things. And I was like, oh, I get it. This is my moment to choose. This is my choice point moment. And I felt it in every ounce of my being. I did a healing session with a dear friend of mine. We scooped, literally, like energetically, but to me, literally, we scooped it out from the back of my shoulder, threw it into the ocean. Both of us, with our physical eyes, saw black matter go into the ocean. From that moment, I knew I was okay. I had my appointment however many days later to like confirm that it had not spread. Thankfully, it had not confirmed. I said, all right, God, if this is the way, this is the way. Take me all the way in. And from that moment, it's been full throttle, full fire hose moment, everything that has aligned to bring together the way in which I serve. So I've really been doing this work since 2010.
So the melanoma, when y'all with pulled that out of your body, the energy of that out of your body, and then threw it into the ocean, did it heal? Did you have any other treatments that had to be
Yeah, no,
taken?
I healed. They had gone in, I guess it was like, let's see here. They did like a first scope that came back, like a first little
Mm-hmm.
cut of the skin. It came back that it was melanoma, and they had scheduled the surgery to go into my lymph nodes because it was really pretty deep that they had to take out. And they were like, we got to go
Right.
take more out, and we want to make sure that it hasn't spread. And so it was between those two appointments that I had my healing session. And when we saw that leave, I knew in my body that they were not going to find anything else when they put me under and did the like deeper surgery. And they did not. It was a very clear decision. It was a very clear energetic bridge moment. And it
Mm-hmm.
really was my higher self, spirit, God, my divine blueprint, whatever we want to call it, was like shaking me, saying, you have run away for enough time. And now is the
Yes.
moment. We need you. This planet is changing. The new earth
Oh
is
my
coming. We
God.
need you. And
Girl, so
so there it
that
was.
melanoma,
I had
you
a lot
said
to
that melanoma,
learn, but there it
right.
was.
You said the melanoma, it was between your shoulders, on your shoulders. Where was it? Okay.
It was on
So
my right shoulder blade.
I had a similar, nothing to do with cancer, but a similar energetic type of experience having to do with the rhomboids. So mine is
Yep.
like, so a girlfriend
Yep.
was doing a card reading for me. This was back in late 2018. And, she had just started, learning tarot cards. And so she's doing readings for me and a couple other people. And she started, pulling or no, she was having me pull the cards. And she's like, oh my God, Stephanie, watch your back. You better watch your back. And I'm like,
Woo! Yeah.
At that point in time, I was doing some things having to do with my cooking show and working with some other people to collaborate with certain things to produce various shows. And I was like, everything was going well. And I was like, nothing. Like I mean, so she goes, you watch your back, Stephanie. And then she goes, fine. And then she started pulling the cards. And then she pulled like a major arcana. And she's like, you're going to be okay, but watch your back. And I'm like, and it
What
was
does
just
that
weird to me.
mean?
Several months later, I went to work for a company. I've been in medical device, surgical equipment, B2B outside sales for years. And this was a surgical company that I started. And 3 weeks into the job, I was at a national sales meeting, and a group of male employees to this day, were unbeknownst reasons, made up lies, not once but twice, to have me fired. So, and that was like really, really super, like horrifically tragic. I mean, you talk about like, I still got up every day, went to the gym. I meditated. I thought that I thought that the purpose of that, like, why would this happen? What was the purpose? What energetically, what's for me? I kept asking, what's for me? What's for me? What's for me?
Yes.
What is through this experience for me? And I thought that it was forgiveness, because I'd had some similar incidences at some, a lot of times in my life. And I'm like, okay, there's something here. And so I came to this place of peace, that this is about forgiveness. Okay, through my meditations and my doing my own card readings and stones and
Yep.
crystals and prayer and you name it. Because I am an active participant in the creation of my
Yes.
life, regardless of
Yes.
what's going
Yes.
on. I'm intentional. I will understand why. I will know and I will understand. So then, about that September, I was at a girlfriend's bachelorette party. And one of my girlfriends that was there was asking me, so how's your new job? And this was like 6 months later. And I'm like, oh, you didn't know I got fired. Like, these people made up these lies and had me fired. And she goes, what? And then she told me her own story of working in the corporate world, where a man exposed himself. Her manager, like, pulled his pants down and exposed himself in the bathroom at a outside of company, but still company, paid
Yep.
for event at a restaurant. And she goes to HR, and HR is like, well, you know what? He's leaving for Norway in the next 2 weeks. You're going to have to get over it, because he is so and so, such and such with the company, and he's blah 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 blah. You're going to have to get over it, because you're going to lose trying to fight it. So what that
Wow.
did is it welled up all this trauma, like, from all this bullshit that I had experienced. and
Yep.
and it was like, okay, so I realized that, no, the gift was not in forgiveness. There was something so much more, so much deeper. And I realized that there's so many women who go through similar experiences, who do not stand up and step up and fight for themselves. And
Yes.
so I decided I was going to do a live, and I went live, and I had a girlfriend here supporting me, and I went live, and I talked about, I was, I called out the names. I talked about the entire situation, told the story. 2 days later, I was sitting on my couch, and out of nowhere, it felt like somebody had literally taken a knife and
Wow.
stabbed me in the back. And I remember, and that one, and I was getting cupping, I was getting scraping, massage, and what I realized was that was my body creating the physical manifestation to heal the emotional trauma. So me coming forth and speaking the truth of what had happened, instead of
Yes.
repressing it and thinking, oh, I'm just supposed to forgive, I was supposed to bring awareness, and that was my body healing. And then after like 4 or 5 months, it subsided. But it's amazing what our bodies do when
It's
we're
amazing.
healing emotional stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's wow, thank you for sharing that. That was there's la 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 la. Um I think the beauty in what you just shared, and that is like I'm hearing, that feels necessary to kind of share back in reflection, is that when we take on our own healing, even though you got to this thing and this place around forgiveness, your other friend who went through the thing ignited for you deeper activation of the thing you were healing. And so that really is where like we each are pieces of each other's puzzle, and we each offer such reverent healing to each other, really and truly. Whether we like that situation or not, it it does offer information to us in whatever way we want to take it on.
100%.
Yeah.
Wow. There you go, guys. Jeff says, so true. You are perfect, whole, and complete. Yes, we are
Yes.
all perfect, whole, and complete. So Elyse, there was something else I wanted to unpack, something else that you had said. I don't have ADD. Look, there's a squirrel. And what you're sharing is so incredibly powerful. And I think it was about okay, so you were calling on, I don't want to deal with this. I don't want this. But your soul, because that's part of your gift and your reason, that you chose to come into this life,
Yes.
or
Yes.
it chose you to come into this life. And it's like, bitch, wake up, you know, it's like,
Yes.
and it's like, and that was kind of like, furthermore, like my moment, I wasn't supposed to just be in the corporate world. I was supposed to be doing this. I'm supposed to be, out here inspiring and empowering people to be their best selves, the highest self. So with that, when you realized that, what, I'm supposed to be like really serving
Yeah.
others and awake, or being a catalyst, like it's not you doing anything, it's you being a catalyst in the awakening if somebody's ready to receive the
Yes.
gift that you're here to offer.
Yeah. It it just all started to unfold, the teachers, the mentors, the classes, the things that were going to help equip myself to be that vessel. I really was just open. I said, here I am, like, teach me, train
Yeah.
me. Um, really diving in deeper to my own personal spiritual practice. I would say in general, throughout my life, I've always been someone who looks for the good in things. I enjoy the rainbows and the butterflies and all of that. And yet, part of what I had to really look at, the deeper I got, was actually going deeper into my own wounding, into that shadow, so that I could really understand and hold space for that capacity with others, right? So that it, while looking for the good and experiencing the light, that's beautiful, that's great, but we also have to understand a bit more of this. You do not have to go relive those traumas again. We do not
Right.
have to do that.
Right.
But we do get to look at what that created in our lives, where we're feeling the lack, where we're feeling the need, where our inner child is not being met in full support or love. And what can we now do to bridge that together? And when we can look at that full yin yang, we can look at the as above, so below, light, dark, then we begin actually living in harmony with this thing called human and spiritual experience, because we're actually both, and we are living on this planet. As many times as I want to say, like, I just want to be floating and with my galactic family and all of that stuff, like, the reality
Yeah.
is we're actually here in physical form. And so, while we can go on journeys and journey out and have some beautiful recognitions and realizations, I believe the real journey is that journey inward to the
Mm-hmm.
body and,
Yeah.
like, inside, so that we can fully experience the full range of emotion and motion. Okay, it came through as motion. So the body can feel the full range of motion, but also our soul can experience the full range of emotion. And so I had a
Mm-hmm.
lot of learning to do. And yet there were a lot of things that were really natural for me. And I really think that was just that this life just really called that forward within me. I started with women's gatherings, and I would do like movement healing classes and meditations. I had this really cool Friday yoga class that I used to do. It was so epic. I would do the entire playlist. Like, we would have the theme of, I don't know, let's say bliss, or the theme
Uh-huh.
of encouragement, or the theme of whatever it was. And I would build an entire playlist like it. And we would go into the yoga practice, but they weren't stagnant poses. We were moving with it. So it was creating this energy kind of climax almost. And then there would be some like crescendo music that I would play, and we would all cry or laugh or like, have big emotion, and then being able to let the body rest, in Shavasana, and just honor the journey that occurred. It was so fun. It was such a blast. And it was such a great training ground for me to bear witness to people's emotions and the journey that we go through and the release. And it really taught me a lot and kind of prepared me for all the things that, came
Right.
next.
Right. And it's like you said, as above, so below, the yin, the yang, the good and the bad. It's all energy. And you have the not the capacity, or as much of a capacity, to appreciate like the grand, the amazing, the higher vibe, being up there, whoa, floating. Yeah, everybody wants to be there. But if you were never down here, then you're not going to feel the grand magnificence that being up there actually is. But it is about, so while you are allowing, and you're, the lower vibration, it, being intentional of like, okay, I know where I want to be. I know how I want to feel, how I desire, because, depression and anxiety and sadness and anger are, lower vibration, but they're necessary, because it's like, because do you find yourself, I mean, I do sometimes, I'll beat, like, it's called beating ourselves up. If I'm in a bad mood and I'm like a bitch to somebody, or I can be really rude on the phone with customer service, and then it's like, but no, but see, but I will call myself out. Like, I'll be like, I was a Karen today, and I have some amazing friends named Karen, but the term Karen, and it's like,
Yes.
even I, no one is perfect. Not Ellen DeGeneres ain't the kind woman all 100% of the time. Nobody can be. But do you find that, like, what do you do? How do you um, allow yourself to feel those negative, or be that
Yeah.
negative, or that.
That's a really good question. I want to address this in kind of two different ways, because I really
Yes.
want people who are listening to kind of like, you're probably in one of these two places. You're either like, I used to be really uncomfortable with those feelings when they would show up for me, or even when they would show up for a client, and be like, okay, let's like dance around it and make it better. Let's make it better. And
Always.
yeah, I've been there, and I was there for a long time, until I really realized and recognized, and through my own journey, understood that if I don't also treat anger, rage, sadness, jealousy, discomfort with sacred reverence, if I don't also treat those with sacred reverence, then I'm also deflecting the good,
Mhm. Mhm.
because I'm not accepting myself as whole
Right.
if I don't be okay with those emotions. Now, does it mean that I want to let myself wallow in those emotions? No. And I'm
Right.
not going to recommend that for anybody else. But what is important is that we say, wow, what I'm feeling right now is this like deep anger, rage, and this is what it is, and this is what it feels like, and this is who I feel that around and for. And
Mhm.
what it does is it places it in a space where we can look at it. And so I have learned to not necessarily let it consume me, but say, okay, I'm feeling really sad. And right now, I actually just want to feel sad. I have
Right.
become okay with that emotion. And what I recognize is that by being okay with it and feeling it and being present with it for X amount of time, whether that's an hour or a day or 5 days, whatever that is, or maybe longer, depending on what we're going through in life, that
Right.
when I can ride the wave of what that is, it does actually dissipate faster. And it
Mhm.
doesn't have to be something that I have to circle back around every time that record comes. Whoop, I got to do it again. Whoop, I got to do it again because I'm no longer running from it.
Right.
I'm being with it. I'm recognizing, and then I'm saying, come here, let me give you a big hug because I love you too. I
Yeah.
love you too. And because I love you too, it feels better in my body. We move
Yes.
past it in a quicker way. And I've now reached a different level of understanding about that. So it doesn't have to come back around in the same patterning. So,
Wow.
yeah, that's a
I
lot.
didn't mean, no, just no, girl, freaking amazing. I mean, I love you too. I love you too. Just oh my god, that is such a mantra. Have you ever heard of accessconsciousness.com?
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
much about
Yeah.
it, but yes,
Well, they have like little mantras. I love that one. That would be
yes,
one that is similar to something. It sounds like something like but I love you too. I love you too. That is Elyse Falzone, y'all. Not yeah, Elyse Falzone. But like one of the things is whenever you are having a negative, lower frequency emotion, sometimes those don't belong to us. You could be shopping, and you might and again
yes,
because we're so connected to everyone and everything, we might be picking up on the energy and it might not be the person. It could be the person that was angry as fuck at their wife or their
yep,
husband or their kids or somebody cut them off in traffic or something way, 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 way worse, who was packing the food, who was in the factory packing the food that you just picked up. And now I love you too. Yes, Jeff, that you've got in your basket and you picked up on that vibration. So anyway, um, oh my god, my boyfriend and I, he made fun of me. Why say something in 10 words when you can use 1,000? Stephanie's motto. But like who does that belong to? Send it back with consciousness attached. So it's
yeah,
like when you're feeling something, and it could be yours, but it could be, but still, it's not necessarily yours. It's still something that you've picked up from a previous experience or a current experience. It's like, who does that belong to? And then you're sending, I love you too, consciousness attached. Anyway, I love you too. I love you too. Yes.
I love you too.
I'm
It
gonna
does. It
I'm gonna
changes
quote you. I love you
everything.
too. Elyse Falzone.
You're so sweet. Yeah, I mean, gosh, there's like we could literally go like hundreds of more hours just on this little concept here
Yes.
because it's not always ours, and yet sometimes not always. And this is really when your own personal practice will show you this. But sometimes it's not yours, and it needs to go back, of course. Like we don't need to do that. And sometimes it's not yours, and you're the vessel to help clear it for the collective.
Holy God, you just gave
And
me
that
freaking
is
chills.
totally next level. And some of us are doing it unconsciously. And a lot of us do it in our sleep because we've been chosen to do it in our sleep. We may or may not recognize it or realize it. But a lot of times, the clients that I work with will realize that some of the things that are going on in their life is because they are working the issue out. They're working the energy field, the frequency out for the collective. And when they recognize that, not only is there like this purpose that comes in, but there's also this newfound tool for them to navigate their lives so differently because they don't feel the weight of the world the same way. It's like wow, it's coming here. I can clear this, and if and when I don't want to do that, or I clear my body is not for that, I can lovingly send it back, like you just said.
Yes.
So
Yes.
there's a lot, there's so many layers there.
Girl, yes. Oh my God. And it's like, so I recently became certified in Reiki 1 and 2,
Beautiful.
and, right, thank you, and I woke up in the middle of the night there for a while, every night, like right around 4:15, 4:30, and we know spiritually, energetically, there's a reason why you're waking up, and it's not to go back to sleep, it's or pick up your phone, it's to, okay, that's when downloads or certain
Yeah.
awarenesses are brought forth, or when you're more able to be aware. And what I realized is in the creation, in the manifestation of some of these hurtful type of experiences that have been a part of this particular life, that I can, okay, so what energetically did I bring forth? I know in this particular life I haven't been intentionally like ugly and taking and trying to take from others and be, does that make sense?
Yeah.
But what I realized is, for instance, let's just use that particular situation that I talked about earlier. The burden that those people are carrying because they know the truth. The burden that
Yes.
they're carrying in this life, that it's not up to me to clear. I can forgive, but what I also have to do is energetic as I did, this Reiki session. I said, okay, what did I do in a previous life, Pat? Because, in Reiki, it's past, present, future, all time, space, dimensions, realities.
Yeah.
And like, that I am, balancing karma,
Yes.
the karma, the energy of this particular situation that I need to heal, forgive myself, clear for myself, so that I'm no longer carrying this fucking baggage. And, okay, that baggage is gone. Now I'm freer and I can bring in more.
Yeah.
And I did that. And I did that. And girl, I'm going to tell you right now, and I've told this a few podcasts ago, I, then I was able to fall right back asleep. So I just intuitively somehow came to that realization that, oh, okay, boom. Uh, um, I woke up in a pool of sweat, and it wasn't
Yeah.
hot. This was like a
Yeah.
couple months ago. It wasn't hot. We woke up in a pool of sweat, and I had a dream. Two of my best girlfriends. One, she teaches Koya. She's yoga. I mean, spiritual guru. One of my just amazing woman. Other woman, amazing woman, artist. We're all like of similar mindset and heart set. Well, I had a dream that one of them was facilitating a healing sound journey yoga class at a place up here in Mooresville called Alara, and where I've been to sound journeys taught by some or facilitated by someone else. But anyway, and my girlfriend, the other one, was making fun of me because I have these chimes hanging in my house, and I
Yep.
was more concerned with where I was going to place these chimes at the yoga studio, because I wanted them to be energized with the vibration of this loving experience. And I was like, and Laura and my friend Laura was making fun of me, and Jess is just welcoming everybody, and place your mat there, place your mat there. So I had this beautiful fucking dream, and it's just like, I'm sorry, prayer, meditation, the energy, it's, yeah,
Potent. It's
yeah.
potent. And again, our words matter, our intention matters. And whether it's being worked out in our awake state or not, there are things being unwound or wound, depending on what is there for us. And I just back in November took a pilgrimage to Egypt for a couple of weeks, which was absolutely profound. And you were talking about that like 4:30 a.m. kind of thing. Um, there is, the goddess of the night sky, and there's a whole, story about, the belief in the Egyptian culture is that like when we go to sleep, that window between that 3 to 5 a.m. is walking the bridge of death. It's walking the darkness every single night. And so, I mean, I think statistically heart attacks happen most of the time during that time. So literally, like the story that our Egyptologist was telling us is like our bodies have to choose every night to decide to wake again. We've got to walk the entire circle We're here in the daylight, but we've also got to walk all the way through the darkness to show up again the next day. And I thought that was so potent. I mean, I knew that was kind of the like bewitching hour, so to speak. I knew that. I live it. I see it. I've got notebooks full from that time in the morning, but to hear it in that way, and I'm sure I'm not saying it exactly the way in which it was shared to me, but it was so beautiful. Like, wow, like we actually get that opportunity, even though it's in our awake state for most, or I mean, sorry, our sleep state for most of us.
Yeah.
We have that opportunity to journey through the darkness every day, every night to arrive at the next day. I thought that was really cool.
That is amazing. And, so that being said, even from like a scientific point of view, it's like, and this, I think I'm tying this somehow. Maybe you'll get it. But like, I dated a guy who was in medical school, and he, took a class called embryology. It was one I loved looking through his embryology book, and I loved to hear what he was
Cool.
learning. And one of the things is that, as a female, our bodies fight conception from the very moment, that the penis enters the vagina. And if you think about that from an energetic, spiritual standpoint, it's and what you're talking about, like how every night we're choosing. Well, we were choosing our birth, we're choosing our death. I for just in my own personal experience, in the couple of times that I have watched somebody transition from being alive to death, is I feel like it's like, okay, I'm choosing. Okay, like you see where people had they all their loved ones show up, and okay, now I can go. Or most of their loved ones will have shown up, but so and so still not there. But then all of a sudden, so and so shows up, and then soon after, it's okay
Yep.
to transition.
Yep. Yeah, it happens all the time.
Hmm.
All the time. Yeah. And with that conversation of, leaving the physical plane or coming into the physical plane, we also have these death and rebirth cycles that we're all doing while we're awake and while we're still actually alive. The dark nights of the souls and the painful, unimaginable, hurtful, physical experiences that then catapult us into this new rebirth. And then we evolve, and then it's like, okay, what is the lesson next? We evolve.
Yes.
So we're going through those cycles all the time in so many different ways. We do it in our 24-hour cycle. We do it in our feminine moon cycle, right? Our bleeds.
Mhm.
We do it
Yes.
in our thought processes. We do it unconsciously in the way that
Mhm.
cycles of karma happen. I mean, we are constantly in
Yes.
cyclical cycles. In the past week, this has come up so much. So I'm just going to drop it in for whatever it means for whoever's watching and
Yeah.
for us. That everything is energy. We know that it's energy moving. And even when energy is feeling stuck or stagnant, it's still moving.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's either moving very slowly or it's moving in reverse, right? So there's
Mhm.
always energy moving. But this idea of orbits has been coming in a lot this week for my husband, a client this morning it came in. It's like we're always orbiting. We're orbiting Earth, moon, planets, right? We're in orbit, but we're also, those cycles have shown themselves to me energetically this week as orbits. And what if we were to have all of the orbiting things, right? Our chakras turn in wheels, right? So those are orbits. We've got orbiting energy in our energy centers. We've got orbiting energy around us. What if in our meditation, we can call forward any orbits in our life that are not harmonious and ask for those orbits to come into harmony with one another? That has been an invitation for me and for those in my life this week. So I'll just offer it
Oh, I
here in the
love
space too.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that makes such to me, that makes such sense. And I'm sure, that being said, that you also follow like, like right now we're full moon, but we're about to go into waning moon, and then the new moon and I never followed those types of the lunar cycle until I was a part of Lunar Aligned, a local girlfriend here, Malia Black. And what I started to notice, with new moon being intentional, waxing taken action, full moon birth, waning reflection, that every 28 days or 28, 29 days, you have that chance. You have that chance again to set new intentions or take different action on, or like, okay, well, that didn't work, well, let me try something new. And I started working with the cycles and doing my cards and my stones and crystals, and working with that with my meditations, and it's amazing how it's like, something will happen or something will occur, you're like, oh, that was like during the waning moon. Oh, that was during and you're kind of like, well, okay, I see the energy around, the
Yes.
manifestation of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Totally. 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 So many
So,
juicy bits,
yes,
y'all. You're gonna have to go back and watch this thing all over again like 5 times.
I know. Like, yeah, I'd say 10. And I love you, girl. I'm gonna be quoting you. I'm gonna be quoting you tomorrow. I love you too. Yeah, Elyse Falzone. So, so real quick, before we go, tell
Yes.
everybody where, like, I know I posted links to your website, but anything you've got going on, if you have any offerings, tell my audience.
Totally. Okay, so good. First and foremost, Instagram honestly is the place that I kind of hang out the most right now.
Mm,
Underscore awaken your soul. Post a lot of cool fun stuff there. My business partner and I, as I said, we're going to Tulum. So seriously, if someone's like on the, like I'm ready to get on the plane, April 27th to May 2nd are the dates for that, just so you know. But outside of that, Gina and I also have just launched our Rewilding Sisterhood membership. It is juicy. This really is about relationship with self while also being in relationship to our fellow sisters. This is the time for collaboration. This is the time for healing the wounds that have us be separated, for remembering what it's like to be in the village, to be in the tribe, to be in a space where we're celebrating and lifting each other up rather than jealous, scared, or afraid.
Oh shit. Sorry. Somehow, hey girl,
Bye,
my
see ya.
elbow. Yeah. So okay, so
So essentially, it's this gathering place for women to remember how to like celebrate each other, because along the line we have been taught to fight each other, to be separate from each other, and to try to kind of like claw our way through this world alone. And it's just not like that. So it is this sacred place where there is channeled, divine channeled messages that come through. We've got videos that come through. We've got guest drop-ins. You want to be a guest drop-in for that space? That could be
I would
fun.
love to. God, I would love to.
Yes, that could be super fun. We'll connect about that. We've got these guest drop-ins where they come in and they kind of take over for the day and share their wisdom and their knowledge and all the things. So we're looking at relationships, sex, pleasure, bliss, coming together in communion. A lot of the community, not everybody, but a lot of the community are moms. So we're looking at what does it mean to like go through postpartum and birth and actually have a community that supports. When people are losing jobs or gaining jobs, let's celebrate each other. So
Yeah.
it's a really, really, really cool space. And then we also have a monthly gathering virtual that happens for that, like a monthly medicine healing circle. It's really beautiful. So that is a monthly membership. Reach out to me if you want to do that. Um, oh my gosh, so many beautiful things. Of course, just, one-on-one sessions. Let's get in there. Let's dig into what is here for you. What is here for you to remember? I'm just going to leave it at that. Trust me, if you know, like I don't really have to say much more. If you've listened to this, you're like, I just need to get in there and
Yeah.
discover. That's that. The last thing that I want to say, just because it is so potent, and I did talk about Egypt a little bit, My decision to go to Egypt happened back in like March of last year. I didn't go to Egypt till November, but when I said yes to Egypt, all of these ancient codes started coming through my vessel and started working with Gina and I together, and her codes coming through the Tulum vessel, because there are Mayan ruins there, right? We have pyramids in multiple places around the world, these sacred sites. And our connection to lands, the galaxies, all of this Akashic record information that actually is our birthright. We are here to remember those things. We have a container that is called Ancient Wisdom. And it is beautiful. It is profound. They are very specific 4 sessions that support your body in opening and clearing and readying yourself to receive this information. We guide you through all kinds of cool shit. And trust me, every single person that has gone through this so far, although I can't really like put a guarantee on it because it's your journey, it's been completely life-changing shifts that have occurred. So, just reach out. There's something for everyone. If you want to know, if you want to go there, I'm here.
Yes, girl. So, when the broadcast is done, can you come back? So you'll go to my personal page and then you'll go into the DFLNY group and you'll post links in the comments under the broadcast to this.
Yes.
Awesome. And for anybody watching on YouTube, the links, you'll have to look into, what is it called? The description of the video, and the links to her websites and other links are there as well.
Beautiful.
So, oh my God, Elyse Falzone, this has been a frickin' amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. And guys, thank you all for those that were watching live. If you're watching on the replay, #replay. Let me know what you think. Let us know what you think. And till next week, y'all, have an incredible rest of your week. Phenomenal freaking weekend. Bye. You stay right here.
Thank you so much. Thank you. See ya.
Bye, guys. Don't you go nowhere. You stay right there real quick.